Hi, I'm Darren. So I've been working on this record recap project since the beginning of December 2020, where I've been going through my record collection and writing about each band or albums, etc. Some of you might have read some of them or most of them, or I don't know. It's just an idea that I had to, instead of just posting pictures of what I was writing or pictures of what I was listening to, that I would write a bit about each band or about albums, things I like about the music. And I figured I'll do a video and just kind of show you what it is that I'm doing, because maybe I'll do some video posts on this as well. Maybe I'll only do video posts. I'm not really sure. But this is my record player here. This is what I listen to. This is my dad's old vintage amplifier. This is a more recent record player I've got. This is my tape player and CD player. These are records that I've got that I have bought but I haven't listened to yet. John Sampson, World Party, Jason Collette I just got, Sarah Harmer. This is the Arts and Crafts label stuff. This is a Phish, Sigma Oasis, another John Sampson record, Slow, which I just got. And that, I don't even know what that is. That was sent to me in error. I'm trying to buy another album. These are my records. I've been going through them from A, and those are people that listen to it as well. And I'm right here right now. This is Phish with a P, not an F. Phish is Marillion. But this is what I'm going through at the moment. If I stand back, you can kind of see the bigger picture of it all. Down here, I've got all of my CDs that I've bought over the years that are now in cases like this, which you can see are just separated. I've gotten rid of all of the plastic, and now I've just got just the inserts and all the artwork related to them. So that's that. I got a microphone. I got all of my singles there, stuff to clean records. That's where my dog sleeps when he tries to ignore me. Some tapes in that and there, some I don't know, just shit everywhere. Dave Bedini's got there's a bunch of, this for my blood pressure. There's tapes in that from the Rheostatics that I got. There's a CD, cassettes that I'm going to burn at some point. And here, up here, I've got some other stuff. There's Nutella and some other things in here that is all just archival related stuff for bands. There's music related things and shit that I've been collecting for years that my wife would probably happy if I got rid of. This is where I do all of my work for all of the archiving stuff that I do with the Rheostatics, etc. This is my desk. There's there's a cup that I made of the Rheostatics whale music. I just got this today. That's the West End Phoenix's new release. I was going to listen to some DVDs as well, so I actually grabbed these and I was going to put them on at some point to listen to. There's some spoons. There's some Marillion, Rheostatics. There's a Men Without Hats. I think it's illegal. I don't know if I'm supposed to have that, but I got it anyway. There's a Genesis movie box that I was going to listen to. Anyhow, this is just stuff I have everywhere. So yeah, that's kind of the layout of where I'm doing all of this from. I'm actually at Phish, and I was going to talk a little bit about the band as well, but maybe I'll just show you what I have, because Phish is a band that I actually love. I actually got into them because of my brother-in-law, Jeff Gorman, back in 97 or 96. I had actually heard an album called Lawn Boy earlier than that. It was kind of proggy-ish, and I always kind of liked it. And then I kind of got into them around 96, 97, and I went to see some shows in Toronto over a couple of years. This was right around the time that an album called Billy Breathes came out. Anyhow, I love that record, and still to this day is my favorite. But I've been to a lot of Phish shows over my years with, I think, every show with Jeff. I've gone to, I think, 3 shows in Toronto. There's been maybe I don't know, we've gone to on a bunch of road trips in the, like in the Pittsburgh, Ohio area. I've done we actually went on 2 different trips to go to their, they have these festivals that they do they've done about 10 of them. And we went to one a few years ago called Magnaball, which was great. It was a 3-day festival. And then we went to one called Curveball a couple years later, and it ended up getting rained out due to issues related to the flooding in the location that it was at in New York. Or I think it was in New York. No, I don't know where it was. Yeah, it was in New York, I think. New York State. Although I'm probably wrong. It was probably somewhere else. Anyhow, I'm a huge Phish fan. I love Phish's music. I think they're a really interesting band. They have a lot of records and some of which that I have purchased over the years, which I'm going to pull out here and hopefully not drop them while I bring them up, and I will show you guys what some of them are. This is on the fly, so I'm kind of making this up as I go. But anyhow, they've had a lot of releases. They're all really, I love their studio stuff. A lot of people don't. A lot of people love the jam factor of their band, and live they are really an incredible band to see. There are 4 musicians who have harnessed the art of being able to truly improvise together in a way that is unlike any other band I've ever seen. They're all extremely talented musicians, the 4 of them, and they communicate in a way live that is really incredible, picking up on cues from each other, ad-libbing, extending songs for sometimes, a 3 or 4 minute song could end up being a 25-minute or a 30-minute sort of epic song that sort of moves off into all sorts of different directions. But it's really interesting if you're into that kind of thing. If you're not, then it would probably bore the shit out of you, as it does for some people. But it's a really interesting band, and I highly recommend if you're into sort of experimental, but catchy, but also really talented musicians. I would check out Phish if you don't know them. This is Junta. No, yeah, it is Junta. Yeah. This was their first, I think, proper album. It's a great record. Fee, You Enjoy Myself. You Enjoy Myself is probably the penultimate, the ultimate real epic song that they originally had written, and they kind of wrote it with the intention of it being like a really well-constructed but really complicated piece of music. Live, it is a bit of a monster. It is really interesting. But the original studio version is actually on this record. It's kind of this album is filled with sort of classic Phish songs if you don't know them. Actually, David Bowie, which I happen to actually be wearing a David Bowie shirt, is on this record, as well as Fluffhead, Esther, Dinner and a Movie, Contact, Divided Sky. This stuff is like really key stuff for when they play live. Fans love it. My second Phish-related album is A Picture of Nectar. This is probably one of my favorite albums of theirs. Llama is a big one. Stash. I can't see shit anymore because my eyes are so bad. What else is on here? Tweezer, Mango Song, Chalk Dust Torture. So this is a really excellent record. Cavern as well. I would highly recommend that one if you want to get into Phish and hear some stuff. This one I bought at Magnaball. This is a release that had, actually, let me try to pull it out. I'm going to put this over here because this video is only 9 minutes long, so it's probably not long enough yet. But this one is a bit of a rare release, and the album is called Hoist, which is a bit of a concept album. But this one had marble transparent vinyl that it was done on, and it was only available, I think, at the show itself. This is also an amazing record. Maze, Sparkle, this Mound, Silent in the Morning, really awesome stuff. Billy Breeze, as I mentioned, my favorite Phish record, I would say, probably because I got into them around this time, but this is a really, really awesome. This is Mike Gordon on the front cover. looking terrible. He's the bass player. On the back, you can see from this side from one side to the other. Anyhow, it's Trey Anastasio, Mike Gordon, Paige McConnell, and Fishman on drums. Anyhow, this is a great record. This is a bit of a prog rock album to me. Like there's songs sort of flow into each other. It's a really, really great album. The other ones I have on vinyl are Fuego, which came out after a few years of them not having released albums. They broke up for a few years and then brought out an album called Joy, which is really good. And then it was about 5 years or so between records. I'm making that up because I don't really remember. But it was about 5 years until they brought out a second album after that. And this was Fuego, which is really good. Great album. Big Boat came out a few years after that. It was produced by Bob Ezrin, who did The Wall. His son went to my high school. And apparently his son was the kid, I think in The Wall, where there's a baby crying or something. There's kids crying. Anyhow, one of the Floyd albums has a kid crying in it. And Bob Ezrin, I believe the story is that he put his son or his kids into like a closet, or they told their kids that their mother had died. And they recorded them crying. So, yeah, that's good parenting. Anyhow, Canadian, good parenting from Canada. Almost as good as our vaccine rollout. But this is a good album. Just came out a few years ago, Big Boat. And actually, over here, I think I mentioned one earlier, but this is their most recent one. They brought it out at the beginning of the pandemic. This is Sigma Oasis, which I haven't opened yet, but I will. It's a great album. I've heard it, obviously. Apart from that, they've got a few other albums that are of note. Here's some CDs. Here's Hoist, which is excellent. It was really good, actually. This is Farmhouse. That's a great record. Story of the Ghost. Oops, there we go. CD is very good. Round Room. This came out, I think, just before they broke up. They broke up. Trey had some drug issues that were going on. Anyhow, Round Room is there. They had Undermined as well. That they released. This is Lawn Boy. This is the one I was talking about that I first got into them. This has some classic Phish songs, The Squirming Coil, Reba, My Sweet One, Split Open and Melt, Run Like an Antelope, Bouncing Around the Room, Lawn Boy. Anyhow, it's great stuff. This is a live album that they brought out a few years ago, many years ago. They had awesome, great stuff. Anyhow, they got 1 million live shows, and everything's available on nugs.net. You can basically hear pretty much all their catalog, live shows, videos, etc. So that's my Phish piece. Also of interest about Phish is, there's a ton of stuff I could talk about Phish, but they're, the one thing that they've done they've done a bunch of interesting things. They do all these festivals, but over many years, what they did was they started to, on Halloween, put out, for their Halloween shows on the 31st of October, they would play a set, which was a full album of that they would cover. And it started way back in the 90s. I don't remember the order, and I'm doing this on the fly, so I don't remember. But they did records like Remain in Light by Talking Heads, and they did, I think, Loaded by Velvet Underground. They did Quadrophenia at one point in full. So they've done all these shows over many years where they've done different ad hoc sort of live full shows where the middle set is an ad hoc, not ad hoc. They've obviously practiced it, but it's a full album. They've also done brand new records that they've never released as in this format as well. Where on the 31st, they had actually played on 2 different occasions. They've actually played brand new full on, or 3 occasions, I think, or maybe 2, new material that they had recorded and hadn't actually performed before. Anyhow, that's my deal with Phish, and that's my setup for my room. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to put this online. You'll see it, and let me know what you think. You can like my page if you want, and maybe I'll put up some more videos. Maybe I'll just do this from now on. It depends on if people like it. I don't fucking know. I'm making this shit up as I go along. But yeah, so stay safe.